Hey YouTube, back with another video. It's leg day. Always love leg day. Actually, I mean, I do like leg day, but it's like there's a reason that skipping leg day is a meme, right? Because it's definitely, I think, if not physically, at least mentally, the hardest day to show up. And I guess they're like legs are the most exerting exercises, like you have to be in a certain shape, honestly, to be able to pump out a good leg workout. I mean, I feel like it's cardio more so than any other day. And I don't know, I've always liked legs though. Maybe I'm crazy. I like there's a certain satisfaction in being able to achieve a nasty leg pump. Definitely not a walk in the park though. Um I always like to hit Bulgarians. I mean, I know that's probably why I like to hit Bulgarians. It's like they're just it's just pure pain. But it's like the best kind of pain. It's like that people go to the gym and they're like, especially newer gym goers, they're like, I don't like coming home and not feeling sore because I don't feel like I did anything. And that's not always true. Like you don't have to be sore after a workout for it to have been a good workout. But, you know, I think that's part of the reason I like Bulgarians so much. It's like I know I'm gonna feel sore the next day. I know I'm gonna have uh exhausted that muscle, if you will, right? So, yeah, definitely gonna get some Bulgarians in. I like to hit Smith machine squats too. I feel like something about the Smith machine on leg day is just it's kind of dangerous, honestly. Like you can push yourself a lot further on a Smith machine, I've noticed. Um, I don't do super heavy stuff right now because I was actually working through a lot of knee pain, right? And then I started figuring out that my knee pain was stemming from like my hips and ankles. And so I kind of got that resolved through like stretching and like PT exercises. And then I was on the Smith machine, speaking of the devil, right? And the Smith machine here is just like slightly tilted, right? And so I failed out on one of my sets and I just completely strained my left knee. So I've been healing that. So I'm not gonna do dappery necessarily. Or if I am, it's gonna be like 2 plates max. Maybe 2 plates and like a 25, depending on how I'm feeling. But I'm not gonna do a full dappery to the point where I'm pushing myself to failure, right? Or not failure, but I need to come up with a new word for that because like the concept dappery is like I don't know, 7 rep, like your ability to hit it for 7 reps is like, I don't know, peak, I guess it peak weight because that's it's a adjusted progressive resistance exercise, right? So the amount that you're putting out for those 14 reps, I suppose that could be considered like peak weight, right? Maybe that's the word I'll use, but something like that. But yeah, I'm not going to be going near peak weight because I just don't want to like risk injuring it even further. Um, but I'm still definitely going to do some squats. I think that they're important. My knee's not to the point where it's like I can't squat. It's just hyperextending it is definitely a problem right now. It was weird when I heard it too. It was almost like it wasn't necessarily. I don't know what muscle it is, but it wasn't necessarily even like the quad or anything. It was like when I extend my leg out like this, I would like feel it almost in the bottom, not necessarily my tibia, but kind of in that area, like the front of the calf. I don't know, but it's starting to feel better day by day. Um, one little rant I want to throw in here. I hate the Apple. I hate the Apple changed the charging port. Um, I wish I had never gotten to 15. If you're out there and you're thinking about getting to 15, just take that into account. Um, because that was something I was not expecting. And I got this microphone, and I just thought I got a little adapter for it because I honestly thought I could just like plug my mic in with the adapter and it would be fine. But no. And of course, that's Apple. They every year, every 2 years, they're just like, you got to get all new shit. And it sucks because it's like, it's not even just like I have to get new Apple stuff. It's like you have to get new everything, new cords, like new adapters, new whatever, new microphone, new. It's, I don't know. I guess it's like, and then the thing is like everything's supposed to be going wireless anyways, but then there's always like, then they just add in like the Type C. Like that's not wireless, you know? It's like it's just a new cord. So I don't know. That's my technology rant. Newer doesn't always mean better. That's the takeaway there. All right. I've gone on long enough. Time to get in there. All right. I know I said I wasn't gonna do daiquiri, but I guess I am. I'm just gonna kind of do like a light version, I guess. I'm just gonna cap myself with 2 plates, just to not hurt myself. So, one of the big things I learned with squats that I think took me a long time to understand, and I think it's easier to drill it on the Smith machine. I think that's why I like the Smith machine to a degree. Not all the time, but probably more than the average person. Is like, I think it really helps you get your hips underneath you. And like I was saying, my knee pain kind of like started with, and really I guess ended with, um, the fact that my like hips and ankles were so large, primarily my hips and my hamstrings and stuff. So I've just been like, I remember we used to do like in both track and football, we used to do these all the time. Just kind of like open up the hips and whatnot. And then I started realizing that I'm like clicking, and that's definitely not where you want to be. So I've just been doing a lot of like hip work and stuff with my ankles. I've been training like the front of my legs a lot more too. I've got this thing like, it's called a tibia trainer. I'll show like a set of it. Um, but I learned about that from Dylan with ATG, knees over toes, like that, and the backwards treadmill walking. Those have been life changers, and I definitely highly suggest um, both of those to anyone struggling with knee pain. And like I said, I'm not going to claim that I came up with that because the reason that I know about that is definitely Dylan from Knees Over Toes, and he's got a really cool program. Like, not everyone's goal with fitness is to be big or lift a lot of weight or whatnot. So I think he's one of the good like fitness influencers out there who's like showing that like longevity of your body, and like works with like basketball players and stuff too, like older people and whatnot. Like, you know, fitness isn't just bodybuilding, right? So, and everyone has like different goals and different struggles. And I had to really lock in on dealing with my knee pain. I mean, they still click every like time to time. I just went like this, and I felt pretty significant click, like, which I've heard is like gas buildup or something, because you've got all sorts of like fluids in your knees and whatnot. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've just been working through that. Like, when I was in high school, I weighed like 225, and I was able to bench like 370 ish, and then I stopped lifting for a while, and I was getting back to the like into like the 340s and whatnot, and I was pretty skinny at the time too. I was only like 180. But yeah, I've just been like dealing with this knee injury, so I'm sure I'll get back to it. And like, I actually, the way I hurt my knee was I had like 3 plates on here, and I was going for like 7 or 8 reps, and then like I just capped out at the bottom and just like put all my weight down onto it and just completely strained it. So I felt like I was like just about to get to the point where I was like gonna start moving like upper of 3 plates, and then that happened. But lesson learned, I'm not gonna do like 3 plates on the Smith machine like that. And even if I do, I mean the big reason was that this isn't completely straight. So figuring that out, I just gotta angle a little bit. And the other thing is like on the Smith machine too, you gotta fail forward. Like I wasn't I wasn't putting myself in the mentality of, oh, I'm gonna not make this rep. Like, and I guess sometimes that's a dangerous place to be in because, I mean, yes, like all or nothing is a good place to be at, but at the same time, it's like if you're not prepared for the worst case scenario, then you can seriously hurt yourself. So, I'm gonna hit my 10 warm up reps. So technically, like my second set is always supposed to be 75% of the working weight, but when I'm like dealing with a plate, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just go like one plate and a 25, which is pretty close to 75%, and then like 2 plates. And I'll do that like it's pretty close approximation to 75%, which I think is interesting. It's like I don't know, maybe that's why they do 25-pound plates because it's like a little plate, you know? I don't know. I don't know who designed weights or numbers, but I do know that that one works out kind of weirdly well. Um, yeah, because I noticed like, I mean, I move like 185 on my rows, which is weird because like I've been struggling like benching it consistently for 14 reps also, but I don't know, back dominant, and like I said, poverty bench. But yeah, I just kind of noticed that because after like calculating over and over and over, I was like, huh, that's weird, weird little pattern, like the number pyramid or whatever, something like that from math. But that's what it made me think of. It's like the pattern within the math, right? Anyways, all right, 6 of these. I used to like love training legs, like psychopath level. Loved training legs, and then yeah, it was like it's like I was saying, like when I was like 19 or whatever, like I was getting back up into like being able to like rep out 325 ish pretty consistently and pretty easily. And it was like it was hurting my back more than anything, which is weird because I never felt like I don't know, I never felt like squats hurt my back more than my legs. But no, actually, I take that back. I very vividly remember in high school being like, because my coach was always like, "Don't use a belt," and I'm like, my back is killing me, bro. But now it's my hips and knees for sure. Um, which I don't know. I think it's ironic because I almost think that I built so much size that they like calcified, right? And so I think that once I can like unlock my legs, I mean, sometimes like, and here's like a life lesson, like, don't give in to victim mentality like ever, right? And ooh, big statement. But no, seriously, like I don't know. I mean, at my age, I shouldn't be having like lifelong sustained injury unless it was something that like was severely wrong from my sports in the past. I thought maybe it was, and so I just kind of resigned to that idea. Like, oh, it probably just like severely messed up my legs during football and whatever. But then I went and got them checked out, and they were like fine. So they basically just told me it was like tendon stuff, and that it's like, and she like the physical therapist said something like my hamstring was like insanely locked up, and and I thought maybe there was a problem with like this muscle right here, the like teardrop shaped one that pulls your kneecap, and she was like, no, it's definitely not that. And so that's another thing, like self-diagnosing can be dangerous because you never really know exactly what the problem is, and then you start trying to treat one thing and it's something else, which can be annoying. But like, yeah, try not to think that like try not to just surrender on fixing things, and then also try not to just self-diagnose because you never really know what the exact cause is or underlying causes. I wish I could move some heavier weight, but the problem is I've been moving too much heavy weight. Like I come in here and I'm like, oh, I've got the leg muscle for it, but it's like it's not healthy for me because I'm not at the point where my tendons are like caught up to that leg muscle. It's really there's the one sentence recap on what I was saying, you know? Another thing for my knee pain gang out there, if you're having problems with like, if you're having balance issues, there's the word I'm looking for. If you're having balance issues during your squat, like you feel like your left leg is exerting harder than your right or the other way around, or like if there's a certain point of pressure, like my left ankle really hurts for some reason, right? I think the best place to start is taking your shoes off and squatting from there. And then even if you want to elevate your heels a little bit, it helps you just get into like a better depth, range of depth. Which actually, I'm gonna take my own advice there. Bear with me. Okay, great. So I like to use these to elevate my heels a little bit. Um, like I was saying, the big reason that I like Smith Machine at the moment is that it helps you focus on keeping your hips underneath you. And I saw a really good video on squat form that almost I don't I think everyone's squat form is a little different, right? But what's really worked for me is kind of pointing my toes out a little bit, so I angle the blocks out just a little, and then kind of pull them in to create this like inward tension. And then from there, I just try to keep my hips underneath me, and that's helped me track. You know, people talk about bar path. That's helped me keep my bar path straighter, and it's just helped me like engage my hips better. Which even when I was squatting heavy ass weight, I don't think I understood that, and I kind of think it's like the same with bench, where it's like if you have your elbows flared, you're gonna get a better chest engage, whereas if you're tucked, you're gonna get like a better back engage. And I almost think like the way I was squatting before, which might have been part of the reason for the damage, was that I was just kind of like dropping into it, right? Whereas with this, I can definitely feel more of like a dip and a pull into it. It's almost like my groin is like driving back and down, right? And so that's really helped me um, with at least like hip mobility, if nothing else, right? Which does translate into like into the heavier lift, but like I said, right as I kind of started and figured this out, that's when the knee thing happened. So, all right, I'm gonna get 7 clean reps here, and then I'll probably do it one more time. No, I'll definitely do it one more time. See, even now, I can feel that it's like slightly not centered. bugs. Yeah, that really annoys me. It's just like slightly tilted. All right, gotta adapt and overcome. All right, here's another one for knee pain gang. All right, so I got these squat bands on like Amazon or something, and these things have been a life changer too because I saw this like Olympian athlete coach. I don't know his name, so I can't give credit, but he was explaining that like he'll have a lot of his like clients, lifters, whatever, do these squats where when you come into it, it's about driving like your hamstring. Like you should feel it in your hamstring, right? And so, for example, on my right side, it would be coming into like, you start from like basically 1/4 squat, and you keep your foot planted flat on the ground and drive the hamstring out. And that's probably like just it's probably just mostly targeting the inside of the hip, right? Which would explain how like what I was saying, the ankle and hip is all connected to the knee, right? And then kind of like going from like 1/4 to like a half squat and doing it there. And then, advanced once you're loose enough to be able to come into, I like to hold on to something so I can still make it come into full depth. And then from full depth, be able to like kind of rip out several. Oh, yeah, that shit hurts. And that's how I know that I have hip issues because that's like excruciating pain for me. So, you know, the beginning of solving a problem is targeting a problem, right? So I'm gonna go no blocks on this one because the Smith machine is just a little funky, given that it's not completely centered. Um, and yeah, like I definitely, I think I talked about it, but say it again. No shoes, definitely good for working on imbalances. And like, obviously, if you have squat shoes, that's probably the best. You don't necessarily need like the blocks, right? If I had squat shoes right now, I wouldn't be tripping about the blocks not lining up with the rack perfectly because it could just kind of turn. Whereas those blocks are finicky, you got to kind of like move them. They can be annoying. But regardless, this felt really heavy last set, and it shouldn't feel heavy because like realistically, I could do like 3 plates without an injury for like 7 reps at least. So, like, given that I'm just trying to kind of deload myself here, I'm like, no blocks this set. It was an alright series. What do you call? You call a group of sets series? Yeah, so I definitely just need to like. I need to take better care of my legs throughout the week because I think that's kind of been my problem. Like, I'm not seeing a whole lot of improvement in the healing process. Is that it's like, oh, it's leg day, and then I'll go home and I'll ice my knee or stretch or whatever. But like, I mean, it's no secret. Consistency is like the hardest thing probably ever, and it's also like the secret ingredient to like every formula ever. So you know, that's my big thing right now. Is like just in general. And this is where I think another a part of the reason that starting this video series this week is kind of like a what's the word, an unveiling of, because sometimes we get just stuck in our like routines and whatever, and it's like a lot of your progress, that's the irony. You think, oh, I just need, and see, it's the other side, the dark side of consistency, right? If you're doing the same thing over and over, it's not working or it's getting worse, then you know you got to adjust. But that's that's like the whole that's the whole duality of that issue. There is, it's like, when do you when do you say this isn't working, I need to adjust, and when do you double down, right? And I don't think there's ever necessarily a correct answer. I think every scenario calls for a different approach. Sometimes you need to double down. Sometimes, and I'm not going to say give up. Give up's a strong word. You should never give up. Never fucking give up, right? It's going to be more of like a reevaluate. There's the word. Sometimes you just need to reevaluate, and because you need to go, are my efforts getting me in the direction of where I want to go, or is it taking me further away from where I want to go? And you know, like with squats, if you're dealing with knee pain and you go, oh, well, I can rep 3 plates out, so I'm just going to keep repping 3 plates out. That's ego talking, and that's just going to hurt you, right? So you got to check yourself when you realize that your ego, and look, here's the thing, ego can help you go a long way. If you have no ego, you're never going to get anywhere because you have no sense of self-confidence or like accomplishments or like, you know, all the things that make us humans, right? But if you let it run the show, so to speak, then you'll see pretty quickly um, just how wrong things could go, right? And it's really just about like finding the middle line there, the balance. Because if you can't walk that line, then you're gonna. It's like a tightrope, right? And there's no net. There's no net. Need a new tripod and a new microphone. If you watch the car ramp, get tired of needing things. I don't know if that's just me. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just a money thing. Maybe it's just my personality. Maybe I just get tired of just like knowing that there's always going to be another thing that I need. This breaks and I have to replace it, or maybe it's just something goes on in my head. Maybe I just overthink it because I don't know. Like I hold on to clothes. Like there's some clothes I have that I just hold on to for like way too long. I mean, this shirt is from high school, but at the same time, there's some positive in there. Like I like to get my worth out of things, right? Not wasteful, thrifty, if you will, right? So, but yeah, definitely gonna need a new microphone. And that tripod's on its last leg. That top piece right there will like not even hold up. I've seen some like cool like I've got a MagSafe case. If I get another tripod, it's gonna be like the magnet, right? But probably be like I've seen a lot of these ones online where you just like it's a magnet, like double magnets. So one for your phone, like one for here, which I guess seems cool. But then I wonder like when I'm out like an incline bench, for example, there's not really a good place to like put that. So I don't know, maybe one of each, but I don't really want to spend too much. But I gotta kind of if I'm gonna keep running these videos, gotta kind of reinvest in it. Because like the last time I invested in this equipment was like how many months has it been? August? How long ago was August? I don't know, several months. 6-ish. I don't know. I don't want to do math. The only math I want to do is counting out 15 of these Bulgarians. See, this is the worst part of Bulgarians. When you know you should switch to the other leg, but you want to rest, but you know you should switch to the other leg. It's a whole mental battle right there. Just convincing myself to finish the set. Ooh, knee. On theme with Valentine's Day, I have a very, very deep love-hate relationship with this exercise. So, happy Valentine's Day to Bulgarian Split Squats. So, I decided for these last two sets rather, that it's probably better to use a free bar than the Smith machine. And the reason being that a proper Bulgarian, you kind of come into like, let me show you. In a proper Bulgarian, you want to lean back to the point where your knee is almost jutting out forward, right? And that way you get this drive up that's like kind of like a curve, right? And that way you're hitting more your hamstring and like the back of your leg. Whereas if in another sense, if you were out here and you're doing this, it's still a Bulgarian, but it's very quad focused. And ideally,
I'm hitting quads on leg extensions and Smith machine squats. So, or just squats in general. So when I do these, and also RDLs, those are kind of my back of the leg exercise. So as as much as I love the Smith machine because it makes it so much easier, and the other major pro of the Smith machine is you can exert more force than you could on free weights because mentally you're going to give up at a certain point of, oh, my body can't carry this anymore, right? But on a Smith machine, you might get another like 5 because you just kind of like suck it in and suck it out, basically, right? Whereas on free weight, there's not enough support to suck it in and suck it out the same way you would with the Smith. And the easiest way to get over that mental battle is to just jump right to the next leg. Oh, fuck. There isn't a better leg work. There just isn't. It's like hip mobility, glutes, quads, um, ankle flexion, knee flexion. If you lean too far back, you're overextending your knee. It's just like the all-in-one squat. Obviously, the double leg squat probably offers more of like targeting muscle imbalances because you got both feet down. But as far as the purpose of a squat, I'm gonna say this might be even better. Hot take. One other thing I feel that's worth a mention, I don't particularly use it as much as maybe I should, but one of the best ways to align your foot placement here is you stick your foot out and then you bring in your off foot or your out foot And from this angled position, like hurdle stretch, if you will, you push up into it, and the back of your heel should mark perfectly, about perfectly. Oh, one more chance at that. Okay. I said about perfectly, you know. You can kind of learn like where your center of balance is. So like I was a little too overstretched, so instead of coming way out here, just kind of go like there. And drop setting these is always a one-way ticket to failure. So take note.
Working on a weekend like usual.
All right. I wasn't gonna record this last day, but I guess it's gonna keep me honest, and it's a chance to work on my balance a little better. Because at first set, I'm not gonna lie, balance was a little off. Should have my foot a little farther forward, because to get that real driving back action that I'm looking for, you got to kind of overextend it on that front leg a little bit, right? All right. So Michael comes right out to about like the zoo logo, but I'm kind of far back on the box. Like I said, I'd rather be overextended. So normally the best way would be just kind of stand right up on it, but you can't really do that with weight in your hands. So just kind of mental note, overextend just a little bit. Then your ankle's got to be like right in the sweet spot. Otherwise, your knee won't rest properly. A little too far. Yeah, there it is. It's a drop set, so I'm gonna pump on. Shit. Ha. Ah. Sorry if that was a big breath. I just don't want to snap my neck. All right. See, here's where I'm like, come on. I don't want to pass out. Balance is tricky, man. I almost want to like start with my knee down, but no, it's too hard to get up. Shit. Woo. To get results other people don't get, you gotta do things other people won't do. All right, one last thing here before I close the workout out with the pump check. So most people probably never even heard of these. I know I didn't until like I said, Dylan from Knees Overtook. But these are called tib raises, right? And again, like with everything that I do, contraction over weight. And you basically just want to, there's imagine the opposite of your calves, right? So running along the front of your leg, those are your tibias, and they're connected to your patella and everything else in your knee, right? And so if you want to increase your vertical or just reduce knee pain or just be able to stand and walk longer, these things are our godsend, right? So it's basically just going to look like this: fully extended ankles out and the fully extended ankles up. And you're just kind of hinging that ankle. And at first, you kind of want to think about it as if you're moving your ankle. But then once you start to feel your tibias, you can start to form that mind muscle connection where you're like, okay, I'm actually just contracting my tibia, just like a bicep curl. Or well, in this case, more of a forearm curl. Because if you think of your leg as like an arm, your hamstrings would be your bicep, right? And so this would be more like a forearm curl in a sense, or reverse forearm curl. I don't know. I don't want to think about that too much right now. I just kind of want to demonstrate the workout, but same concept with if you're doing a leg extension, it's kind of like a tricep extension, right? So your body's kind of this just top and bottom reflection of itself. And once you realize that, I think, you start to realize it's important to train your forearms. You want your forearms to be big. They're important to your wrist strength. This is important to how much you can bench, right? So same concept with your tibias and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it about that. So that's it for leg day. Pretty solid leg pump. I'm just exhausted. Like I've been saying, I'm making sure to get my carbs in. And so I find that I can just push myself to a point that I haven't in a long time because I've been eating 400 carbs, 500 carbs a day, on a good day. And I've just got this new sense of energy coming in here. It's I was definitely not on my last cut. I was only maybe 100 carbs a day. And I was dying. I was not, my numbers were not going up. I mean, I was shredded. Don't get me wrong. I was shredded. But it's been a whole different feeling on this cut. I just feel way more powerful and just way more energy. I really want to, as I was talking about the whole video, just get my hips and ankles taken care of. Same with my wrists and elbows. Once I get there, man, I'm going to be going it consistently over and over. It's just, you get caught up in life and you don't have time or whatever, or it's cold and I don't want ice or, whatever number of excuses I can think to come up with. But, the mantra of, I guess 2024, right? New Year's is over. It's February now. So, but I guess the mantra of this year, I mean, this is really where the resolution starts. Is in February through the rest of the year. Can you actually keep those promises you made to yourself, right? And so my resolution is just to no more excuses, And I think that's a good place to end the video. I'll be back tomorrow with the shoulder workout, and hopefully you subscribe, comment, and follow along. Look forward to it.